This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, our city is chosen as the appropriate launch place for a new mental health campaign. We'll find out why. Residents aren't holding back on commenting on a City Council proposal, with one aspect proving most popular. And we meet one of the fashion students who's had the opportunity to show her designs on a foreign stage. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. New mental health guidelines are being introduced by the government. They're aimed at helping parents with disorders to positively influence their children. And there's a good reason why the model is being launched locally.
Overseeing a breakthrough in mental health care, the government's Director and Chief Advisor of Mental Health has just been launching new national guidelines in Dunedin.
Most people who have a significant mental health problem also want to be a parent, and this is about helping them do that.
The local launch acknowledges the work already being done in the city to address mental health problems in a family-focused way.
Dunedin has actually been working much harder than a number of other areas in the country. It's in their service development plan, Rising to the Challenge, and they took up the challenge and started to work in terms of developing local guidelines and local implementation for children who have parents with mental health and addiction problems.
It's expected that as a result of the new guidelines, the children of people with mental health issues will be less likely to develop problems of their own.
And we know that that children are if you like, the unidentified patient often when you've got a parent with mental illness, and they need to be part of the equation, because if they're not, then they will become potentially our next patient.
They say there's a huge number of locals with mental health issues, many who are parents, and they're hoping that with time, these guidelines help to break the family cycle of such problems. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
The start of the cruise ship season has been delayed, with the first visit to Dunedin cancelled at the last minute. Local visitor information staff announced the cancellation to tour operators today. The season's first cruise ship was scheduled to berth at Port Chalmers on Saturday, but for unknown reasons, the visit has been called off. Usually, cancellations are forced by bad weather. Each cruise ship visit to Dunedin brings hundreds of thousands of dollars into the city. The success of the season between October and April is dependent on as many cruise ship days as possible. The first ship is now expected on the 14th of October. A proposal to change the way natural hazards are managed is drawing substantial public feedback. A new plan by the Dunedin City Council is out for consultation, and one aspect of it is dominating conversation.
Shaping the city's future. Residents are being invited to have their say on the council's second generation plan. Its section on natural hazards is drawing the most attention, with concerns about different risk areas. And staff have taken recent events into consideration.
After the June events, they were out, they were collecting data, they've been doing a lot of analysis of that data. At that point in time, the maps were already done, but I believe they certainly looked at that data to see that it aligned with what they thought, and possibly in the future there could be changes as a result of that work once it's fully analysed.
The floods significantly damaged parts of the city. South Dunedin was among the worst hit areas. But in the council's new plan, the suburbs considered low risk.
Hazard 3 is coastal, is what South Dunedin is, and the coastal areas are all Hazard 3. With that, we're really looking at risks that may increase in severity over time due to climate change, rather than any type of risk that poses an immediate threat to safety or health.
Groundwater is expected to build up over time, increasing the risk of flooding in the long term. But council staff say there's no immediate threat.
But if people are building in those areas, we would require them to have a higher minimum floor level and to design their house to be relocatable, just in case 50, 80 years it really becomes not a place that you'd want to have people living.
Most of the information in the plan isn't new, it's just more visible. Public consultation is open until the end of November. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
A request by Southern Clinic Network to become the region's second primary health organisation has been denied. The decision was made by the Southern District Health Board. There's only one local PHO, and that's well south. An expert review panel recommended the application be turned down. It's believed the establishment of a second PHO could destabilise local healthcare. 28 submissions were made on the proposal, with most health providers supporting the status quo. Otago Polytechnic students have been showcasing their designs on an international stage. Two fashion students recently travelled to Southeast Asia for a collaborative show with Vietnamese students, and a free trip wasn't all they gained.
Making her mark on fashion. Bridget Robertson is just one of two Otago Polytechnic students who have just returned from Vietnam, where they showcased the results of a unique collaboration with foreign counterparts.
It was insane, the experience was mental. I guess it was crazy getting there and experiencing a new culture, what they do in their fashion world, and I know it was just such a cool experience, meeting new people I'm still friends with now, and yeah, it's so cool. It was amazing.
10 Kiwis and 10 Vietnamese teamed up as part of a diplomatic project, celebrating 40 years of friendship between the countries. The students spent 3 months communicating over the internet to plan pieces with the theme of fusion in mind.
We decided to take the idea of fusion, and that was a brief we were given, and take it as two people coming together and the relationship being built. So talking about our past influences in our life and bringing those two things together.
The trip is just one of several travel opportunities offered to local fashion students. The Polytechnic's design school also has ties with institutions in Shanghai and Malaysia.
Oh, it's amazing because they got to work with the Vietnamese students on a collaborative collection, and also they got to know all the students that got involved from the other schools in New Zealand, so they've built up a really nice community in New Zealand as well.
The fully funded trip has created a lasting impression on the students. They not only got to experience another culture, but they've made some new friends as well. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, more awards for a local lender, and we'll find out why some Dunedin athletes are really feeling the heat.
It's a very tragic death, a very painful death, a very prolonged death, and certainly nothing that needs to happen.
It's not part of our anatomy that people like to think about that much, but actually we need to.
People don't know the symptoms. About half of people you ask don't know the symptoms of the disease, and that makes them very much at risk of dying from the disease or having a much poorer outcome, because the disease is very curable if it's caught early.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget, we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS Studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
We can't guarantee what people will do once they leave here, but we can sure as hell try to make it better. We're making headways, especially with our offenders going out and the integration between our industries and the outside industries, like the real stuff. Society just needs to give these guys a chance.
Welcome back. The latest snapshot of business confidence suggests the economic situation is improving across the country. Industry commentators say it's a change from the last 5 months, which have been markedly gloomy. Of all the firms recently surveyed, 17% foresee growth in the next year. That's partly a result of increasing activity in the construction and manufacturing sectors. About a third of surveyed businesses also think unemployment rates are about to improve. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day down 19 points. It's now at 5,593. The Nikkei is up 423 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against the major currencies we follow. A local financing team has again won National Industry Awards for call centre services. Staff at NZCU South are celebrating their accolades as they launch new community initiatives. Tania Dickey joins us to explain. Good evening.
Good evening.
Tell us about your recent awards.
The recent awards we won were the CRM Awards, and they're called the Oscars of the contact centre industry, and we won the banking and financial services sector. We also won the web and email sector for New Zealand, and one of our staff members, Nicola Geary, won a prize for a customer services rep. So we were very pleased, yeah.
Now you also have a partnership with a local food charity. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. We announced last week at our AGM that we were partnering up with FoodShare, which is a Dunedin-based charity, and they rescue food from bakeries and shops around Dunedin, and they distribute it from Mosgiel right up to Oamaru.
How is that benefiting locals?
It's benefited locals in many ways. There's about 50 different organisations that they support, and there's 45,000 meals, I believe, a month redistributed, and we're going to help with collecting the food and redistributing it, but you can also help by donating, I understand, and $1 a day gives people 3 meals, so it's really good. Yeah.
You've also got a new youth scholarship program in the mix.
Yes, yeah, we also announced last week a youth scholarship, and that's up to 3 awards that we'll give to people that are members of NZCU South, are children of members or grandchildren of members. So it can be anything for music, culture, the arts or education. So anyone that's striving to excel and exceed in what they do, we might have the next Lydia Coe or someone amongst us. So if we can help them on their way, we've got 3 $5,000 scholarships that we're going to be giving out.
What is the aim of being involved with a scholarship?
The aim is to recognise people. One of our values is strive to excel and celebrate success. So if we can help some young people get on their way to be a success and to achieve more, either within New Zealand or outside of New Zealand. Many people want to go overseas and study in institutions that they can't actually get here. So we just think it's worthwhile, and we'd like to help people along the way.
And when do you plan to announce winners?
The winners will be actually announced in early February, on the 1st of February, but the applications have opened and they close on the 30th of November.
How does NZCU South benefit from its community involvement?
Well, we benefit in several ways. Of course, people like us to actively participate, but we get a lot of personal satisfaction, our staff participating in local community events and things that we're involved in as well. So.
What other community events are you involved in?
Well, we're involved in Christchurch. We've got branches throughout the South Island with the Sydenham Rugby Club. So this year, in 2016, we're going to be their premier sponsorship. So we help with the juniors and give out oranges and cook sausage rolls and provide shelter in terms of a marquee for people to watch. And in Invercargill, for example, we're involved in TradeQual, which is the Graduating Apprentice Awards for the Southland region. So we do a lot of different things at different levels, but they're some of our major sponsors.
NZCU South CEO Tania Dickey, thanks so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, things are heating up for some young athletes. And we're on the streets to talk regional flights.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked, money back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boy store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
So many people don't understand just how prevalent this cancer is.
New Zealand has one of the highest rates of bowel cancer in the developed world.
100 people every month will die of this disease, and a lot of those people are dying quite needlessly.
It's really important to get away from this horrible statistic and to make a difference here.
So we need that to change. We need people to be much more comfortable going to their GP and saying, actually, like, I'm really worried about this.
Welcome back. Police are searching for a local man wanted in relation to a serious assault in Mornington. 29-year-old Glenn McMillan is the subject of an arrest warrant. Police say he's wanted in relation to a serious assault which occurred in Mornington on the 25th of August. McMillan is described as being 171 centimetres tall and of thin build. He has several distinctive tattoos on his forearms. Several young athletes from Otago are setting their sights on gold. They're hard at work preparing for a World Championship in just a few weeks, and their training regimen is seeing them take some heat.
Getting in the zone, local para-athletes are taking part in a 10-day training camp. They're putting in hours at the gym to prepare for a World Championship in Qatar next month. Plenty of time is also being spent adapting to hot conditions.
A little bit of heat acclimatisation in Dunedin and some competition. Dunedin has started their athlete season early just for us, which has been fantastic because or else we wouldn't have any competition. Then up to Darwin to some intense heat, and then to Doha, which will be hot and dry.
6 of the 8 Kiwi athletes are from Otago, the majority of them throwers. The World Championship will be the first major event for some, so they're setting modest goals.
I really don't know what to expect with the competition, and I don't really have any experience in that type of environment before, so I'm looking for a top 6, I think. But yeah, just a personal best performance, whatever I can throw out on the day will be, I'll be pretty happy with.
There hasn't always been many Kiwi athletes at this level, but things are looking up with 15 internationally ranked competitors.
It's awesome to have a bigger team. In the previous World Champs in Leon, we only had 2 athletes, myself and Rory McSweeney, both javelin throwers, and now we have 8 people, which is really awesome to see the program growing, and just some more young, talented athletes coming through the program as well, which is really exciting.
The World Championship is a stepping stone to next year's Paralympics. Competitors are guaranteed a spot in the ultimate contest if they do well in Doha. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
A new regional airline is about to start operating locally. Dunedin's airport is the 5th busiest in the country based on passenger numbers. And with that in mind, our Word on the Street team asked members of the public if there needs to be more flights in and out of the city.
Definitely, 100%, yep, easy answer, yes. Well, I suppose because people like me that don't drive, have to get on a bus and go all the way up to Christchurch or wherever, to get a flight.
Yeah, I think it does, I think it does. Especially to Wellington, flights are too expensive, no competition, it just means that they're pretty excessive for students like us.
There are certainly some times around exam time when the flights do become expensive because there are a lot of students on a flight at the same time, so maybe that could be fixed by more flights. I think that'll really help students.
I think there does need to be because there are actually a lot of people here that like to travel, and it's always annoying when you have to travel here to another city to get out of Dunedin as well.
Overseas flights would be nice, yeah, more flights to Australia.
I think we definitely do need more flights in and out of the city. It would just help business as well and bring more money into Dunedin City, and also we need more flights over to Aussie as well. So it's we've got an international airport there, but there's not that many international flights either now.
It'd be a lot better to have more flights in and out, particularly direct flights to Auckland and back. It's a real, it takes a heck of a long time of your day to go backwards and forwards.
I haven't had any issues getting a flight out of the city. Maybe they could be to more places.
I think we're actually okay with the number we have currently. There's not too many people and there seems to be enough to fly in and out during the week usually.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. The government has launched its new mental health guidelines locally to acknowledge work being done with families in the city. The DCC is already receiving a lot of public feedback on its draft plan to change the way natural hazards are managed. And 2 Polytechnic fashion design students have been showcasing their work with Vietnamese counterparts on foreign soil. Time now to find out what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Phil Somerville joins us. Good evening.
Hi, Rebecca. The arts page is tomorrow about cellos. Dunedin's actually really strong in cellos, and there's a thriving group, the big concert on Sunday. We've got a story tomorrow with pictures about the success of the Waitati Seaside train, and a coroner's inquest into 2 separate tramper deaths. There's also speculation about the Mayoralty and what's happening there, so look for that.
Very interesting. That's all in tomorrow's ODT. Thank you, Phil. Well, it's time now for a brief look at local weather. And around the city today, the central city recorded 16 degrees, 17 at the Gardens and 19 out on the Taieri. In Dunedin tonight, you can expect mild nor'westers, but a high cloud as well, and a low of 9, which is not too unpleasant. Tomorrow, cool sou'westers will roll in relatively early, but it will remain mostly fine. Westerlies will freshen in the afternoon. We're expecting a high of 18 degrees. And to the Otago Pallet Fires tidal and fishing information, high tide tomorrow morning is at 5 to 7. Low tide follows at around 10 to 2. And fishing conditions aren't flash, but if you were still keen, you could try it around 4:15 in the afternoon. Well, that is local news for Wednesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.